Peak and Soul, welcome back, Goddess. Let's get on back over here, because this, as soon as we got to tapping in, they cut the live. We back, though. Peace, everybody. Peace and healing. We finna get back to this bill, because it was getting good. Astral projection. I bet. Okay. Yeah, let me know, man. Go get it. Let's try to get bro back over here real quick. Yeah, though. Tris, what up, though? Black goo. Goo. Chief Anara, what up, though? Psycho Mac, what up? Peace to everybody in the chat. We back. Let's try to get Unc back over here. And the astral projection is deep. It's quite simple, though. You know, when you dream, you're going into astral project. Not when you dream. When you're daydreaming, you're going into astral projection. All facts what Sick Ape was talking about, what Rod Hayes was talking about, as far as like, you know, the hologram. And the light is conscious awareness. That light is needed to project the hologram. So, hey, Zaza, move, man. Move. You want to go in the cage? Oh, yeah, it's tripping. That inner light is needed to project the hologram. What is that inner light? That inner light is conscious awareness. Your awareness, your consciousness means awareness. We create reality through perception. Awareness is the creator. Awareness. This is Big Mama. I don't think it get higher than being aware, because nothing exists in life without awareness. It's kind of strange if you really sit deep and think on it. Yo, like, what would exist if I wasn't aware of it? When I'm asleep, and I'm in unconscious sleep, not dream, but that state of being like right after you're awake and you in sleep, and right before you go into dream, you in unconsciousness. Nothing exists in the mind. The mind is void of thought. You don't even exist. Nothing exists in unconscious sleep. I'm talking about that. So, when we in unconscious sleep, Joe, we don't just fall. We don't. Awake is consciousness. Sleep, unconsciousness. Dream is subconscious. So when we awake and conscious, we don't just go into the subconscious dream. You only do that when you're daydreaming. But when you fall asleep, you don't just go to sleep. Go into the dream. You have to go in the voided space through unconsciousness. You have to go there to get to the other side of life. So it's like conscious, unconscious, and subconscious. To astral travel is to go in a dream state while awake. To astral project. You can astral travel while sleeping. You astral travel while meditating. Real talk, I just might, though, go to Clubhouse. But you astral travel in meditation and in the dream. But to astral project, to project yourself into the astrals, one must be awake. There go, bro, right there. Let's get it, bro. Yes, you project yourself into the astral plane. You have to be awake. This is what astral projection is. Yeah, so they cut you right when you was building on astral projection, bro.
Yeah, I was talking about the forcing of the mind to expand. Excuse me. Forcing the mind to expand so you can think on higher levels of consciousness. Then you can activate your spirit body on higher levels of awareness, which is less dense than the 3D world. So
Okay,
you
yeah,
need
that's what
so
you was
when
building
you
on. Yep.
strengthen your spirit body, it's the same strength in your astral body.
Mm-hmm.
So we use the spiritual training, the rituals. That's just to get your psychic awareness to a pattern. Because once you get the pattern activated, you don't gotta do that ritual no more. Right? You doing the ritual.
Yeah, once
Sometimes you
to
doing it to
activate it.
harness energy, but
Yeah.
when you first start teaching the spirit science of rituals, all it is training you how to become aware of certain things that you wouldn't normally pay attention to. So
Mm-hmm.
it's taking the monkey mind, instead of letting it just do its thing, it's taking control of that motherfucker. Say, hey, pay attention, focus. That's what the spiritual development is. When you start training the mind to focus on ideas, concepts, the bigger the idea conglomerate that you force the mind to examine, once you bend that motherfucker out of shape, it can't go back to what it used to be.
It
That's why
can't.
they say once you learn that shit, you can't unlearn it.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're building up your spiritual abilities as well, and that's a side effect of building the spirit body. We call these psychic abilities, psychic awareness, psychic talents, psychic gifts. What you was describing earlier, driving down the street and you operating a whole nother body, that's control remote viewing all day long. That's control remote viewing to the letter. Just how that's described. Once you can put yourself in that altered state of mind, you can go to examine anything you want to, but you're gonna always be looking through somebody's eyes.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, it's deep. It's deep.
Right. So you
Yeah,
teaching
remote
the
viewing.
mind how to perceive distant phenomena without the aid of the optic nerve.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So it's like we
You
seeing.
developing clairvoyance, and when you do that, though, if you have any other psychic innate ability or dormant or atrophied ability,
Mm-hmm.
you begin when you start building your spirit body. All of them begin to reactivate. The more you train them, the stronger they get, and then you start understanding. When you get to the God mind, you have what you call a point of indifference. That indifference is what keeps you from taking sides with the right or the left,
Right. Neutral.
right?
Staying
That keep
neutral.
right, and that's what my father say. The man's supposed to move straight, straight. He ain't supposed to do all that old funny, wishy-washy, turny round, curvy shit. Man
Right.
supposed to move straight.
Yep.
So when he telling the child that, the child becomes focused in his mind that a man supposed to move straight. It's teaching him to focus the mind on the goal at hand and get the motherfucking job done
Get the
and fuck
job
what the
done.
motherfucking naysayers is saying. Right? Move straight. It's you training the mind, right? My mama said that you have to also not neglect the heart because you got to treat people the way you want to be treated, and you can't throw people away like trash. You can't look
Mm.
down on nobody for their struggles because you were struggling one time and people look down on you. You don't want to be like the people that look down on you while you were struggling, so don't look down on nobody else while they're struggling.
Facts.
you know. So
Facts.
these become the lessons that formulate the spiritual development as I go through my religious training in schools of thought, following the path of the priesthood, right?
Right.
Because I was going to be a doctor, But when I caught my case, the only doctor position was a witch doctor, so I took that.
Uh, so it's deep and it's on point, like real talk. Cause all man, everything is facts that you just said. G. I'm talking about all the way down from a hologram to even building an astral body. I would have thought I gave you a consultation. You feel me, Joe? Because like it's like some of the same shit. Like that's how you know this is right knowledge and understanding without all the extra pseudoscience. You feel me? Because
Right.
if you apply this wisdom, you will see results. You feel me, Joe? So I know we got 65 viewers. If and you know, I know half of the viewers just listen to this type of shit for entertainment, but there's some reflections out there that's actually applying the knowledge. And if you apply the knowledge, you will see results, man. This why I say this is right knowledge and understanding. This ain't that pseudoscience that them niggas be teaching. They gonna talk about shit all day, but if you actually try to do what they say do, you ain't gonna see no results.
Hey,
It's like,
look, I found a lady when I was looking for my curriculum. I was researching my curriculum for the training center for the children, right?
right,
I found a lady over in Europe I think she's from India. She teach the children how to read without using their eyes. They be blindfolded.
damn.
She teach them how to see. So this is gonna be part of the curriculum. Remember when I was talking about your airbending?
Yeah, yeah, yup,
And I was saying that's the type of stuff we be teaching in the
yeah,
training center.
yeah, yup.
Right. Now the training center is gonna be under the sisters that's running the doula center.
Okay.
Right. And their job is to evaluate the child to determine what path the child want to take as his best life scenario.
Dope.
And then whatever it is to the child, give him every resource that you can conceive of to make him a success.
Hmm.
Fuck their educational system. Teaching our kids how to be slaves. I don't think that shit
Hey,
cool.
I tell people all the time, they're like, man, I wasn't sent here to be, you feel me, to go to graduate from somebody's college. I wasn't sent here, you feel me, to be somebody's rapper or be a basketball player. I was sent here for a divine purpose, you feel me, Joe. And maybe some other people's purpose to, you feel me, go to college and get all these certificates and you feel me, credentials, you feel me, so to speak. But it's like, yo, like the shit that they teaching us, you feel me, is bullshit. You feel me? And then it's all a fucking scam anyway. It's a part of, you feel me, the cities. The cities, I identify Babylon as the cities that were built after colonization. Now you feel me? You got colonizers,
Hey,
move to these new lands. You got
G,
indigenous people. Yeah,
I got a video on
yeah.
Facebook called Babylon Fell in Real Time, and y'all wasn't looking.
Mm. Well, let me hear about it. You gotta go in. I'm gonna check it out though. I ain't even add you on Facebook. I'm definitely finna add you though.
Hey, look, so the thing was this. At the time, I was exercising my birthright to close out all of the contracts of the foreign corporations, right?
Right.
And I was letting everybody know what I was doing while I was doing it.
Okay.
So I was telling them Babylon fell, motherfuckers. Y'all
Oh
wake up.
yeah.
It's wake up time now. I didn't took
Mm-hmm.
all their motherfucking juice.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right?
Definitely.
The only thing I didn't know back then that I know now, it took a long time to switch a government over.
It do. It do. But you think it can be done?
It's being done in the process. It's almost done.
What, taking the government over?
Yeah. Changing it over. Not the takeover happened in 2019. This is changing over process. Remember,
Who
continuity of
took it over?
government.
Who
Remember,
took it over?
the chiefs of the land. We served a collective eviction on the legal fiction. When I came and showed the jurisdictional override for the land, Then the elders begin to assemble, right? And any
Mm.
other elders that had not yet been assembled, I had to find them, and then I had to put it in the public domain which elders need to be at the transition. That's what the whole Free Larry Hoover thing was about. Bring
Right.
Asada Shakur home. Um, they thawed out Tukey. I thought he was dead. And then I found out he was in cryostasis.
Damn. He's still alive?
Yeah, he was froze. He let them motherfuckers freeze him. Man, don't you know I'm not gonna let them motherfuckers freeze me?
Hey, hold on. So, hold on. So that shit really worked though. You feel me? You can freeze a motherfucker and
Look, that's
unthaw him out.
ancient technology, dog. That's not new.
So look though, and it makes sense because this is why a lot of like new bacterias and viruses being you feel me released now. And a lot of that, most of that shit government man made, but a lot of that shit being unthawed out because a lot of that ice
Yeah,
melting.
they
You
did have
feel
a
me?
lot of old viruses that was dormant for
An-
millions of years in the ice.
Ancient, yeah. So in even certain animals, you feel me? An animal can be unthawed out. You feel me? An ancient mammoth or some shit. Oh,
But
fucked up.
you know, they found complete enough genes to clone a mammoth already
Yeah,
from
I'm
a
pretty
frozen
sure.
mammoth. So look, they got frogs that freeze all winter and thaw out in the springtime. That's
Mm,
the tech. That's where they rediscovered the technology, because they
yep.
was reading about the technology in ancient texts, right? And they couldn't understand why they couldn't make it work. This was back in the 20s and 30s,
Mm-hmm.
right? They couldn't understand why every time they thawed somebody out, frostbite or the crystallization of the cells keep happening.
Right.
When one of the ancient texts told them to study the frog, and
Okay.
so when they were studying the frog, they found that he releases a chemical in his blood that allows him to go into cryostasis, will be froze, and then reanimate in the spring of the year like nothing happened.
Mm-hmm.
They learned how to put the chemical into the body, then freeze the body. So when it's time to thaw out, it's just like throwing that frog out. It's
Exactly.
a couple of side effects, like Tukey hair fell out. You remember when Kanye had his hair cut with all of the patches and shit?
Mm-hmm.
They all of the OGs cut their hair because Tukey hair fell out. So it was a show of solidarity.
Damn. So
Malachi
that
York
nigga
shaved
still.
his head.
Oh yeah, I heard he did too. I ain't seen no recent
That
pictures
was
of him.
because Tukey hair fell out.
Are you talking about back? Okay.
This is this year when
Well,
Kanye was when Kanye
oh,
had
when he
that
had
new.
the patch, yeah,
Remember when he was walking around with the boots, big old winter boots on and
yeah,
shit?
yeah,
He
doing
was
the
telling
donda.
me, listen, he was telling us that Tukey is going through cold spells from being froze. This is his. He cold. He walking around and motherfucking in the airplane hangar in the desert, and he got this big ass fucking winter gear on because he's having chills.
That nigga cold as fuck. Yeah, we
Look, and
think
then
he just be
another
dressing like
side
that.
effect he had. Another side effect he had when they thaw him out. The acceleration of the metabolism in the process burnt the fat off his muscles, so the nigga was extra ripped.
Who Tuki?
Yeah,
Man, hey, that's crazy, Joe. Man, and it's deep because a lot of motherfuckers, man, still living like, especially like Osama bin Laden, Joe, and Saddam Hussein. You know them motherfuckers still alive, Joe.
man, they ain't killed no. Look, they chasing the motherfucker around in the Afghanistan caves for 5 years. That's on a goddamn dialysis machine.
Ah,
Okay, now listen. Now they expect us to believe the story.
right,
They expect us to believe this. He's walking around in the caves with a portable dialysis machine.
facts.
A portable dialysis machine is like dragging a whole stove around with you.
Real talk.
People not paying that no attention.
And then like, shit, that nigga was a billionaire. Like, you feel not a millionaire, a billionaire. His family was rich and everything.
If you go back and do the research, the Bush family and the Bin Laden family has been in the oil business together since the 40s and 50s.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bin Laden family, Osama Bin Laden was the boogeyman that they wanted everybody to look to when they was robbing us.
Right. Try to put it off on him.
Right. See, the corporation ended in 1999, but didn't nobody have the jurisdiction to process it. Because didn't nobody organize the chiefs on the land by public notice until I did it. That's why it was so important to learn civics, to understand how to do public notices and shit, so that you know how the oral tradition override they written shit. Because the oral tradition is an agreement on the land is how we practice our law.
Right.
Right. So my clan, we follow the laws set forth by Larry Hoover and them back in the day. Right. So now they gave us a written code to follow. But our written code has nothing to do with the government. It's tribal. Whereas on the West Coast, they got an oral tradition. The OGs have to clear it before the YGs engage in the activity.
Right.
Now, I have to be in tune with the Crips, just like I'm in tune with the folks in Chicago, to understand how the tribes are communicating, so we can get the message through all the tribal networks. We're on the same page now. Time to get the imposters out.
Right. And I'll be seeing that shit in the West Coast and in the East Coast, even down south, you feel me, about, GDs, Bloods and Crips, you feel me, peace treaties, and that shit actually working. But in Chicago, it ain't gonna never be no, like, it ain't gonna never be no peace amongst like the GDs and the BDs. It ain't like, it's different in Chicago, but it's like everywhere else they can come together.
It will be.
I don't think so, bro.
It will be.
Unfortunately,
but
Chicago
listen
got a dark cloud over it, and that's
right.
like that's.
But
like
when they find out who behind the cause in the war, it ain't even us.
Exactly, it ain't. But it's like, you right. It ain't us, but it's like, it's levels of hell. You feel me? Just like it's hierarchies of hell, like hierarchies of demon, different ranks of angels. You got different levels of hell. This earth is a fucking hell. You feel me? This continent is a different level of hell. The states now.
I think this shit heavy.
The city of Chicago, that's like the lower levels of hell, G. Like, for real. And it's not because of us, like you said. It's because the devils that created the cities, which is a Babylon. You feel me? It's because of them.
They took over the cities. They didn't create them. Those are metropolises that's ancient. They just altered the way that we did business on the land.
So from my understanding, that's why I call it Babylon, because of Babylon is the cities that were built after colonization. So like, you got
you ain't got no problem. I ain't got no problem with that. But Babylon fell.
Babylon, man, bro, bro. I don't think Babylon fell as long as the city's being built. You have city owners. You have.
Chief, you know why?
I pay it. I don't really be like, nah. I'll be I'll be behind on a lot of shit,
Look,
bro.
the banks is closing. The hospitals are shutting down their electronics that affects the equipment and the IT shit. Right? You got a motherfucking receding tide that been out for goddamn 3 days in the Gulf.
Yeah.
Probably longer than that now.
Mm-hmm.
That shit got to come back. The longer it's out, the worse it's gonna be when it returns. Because
I
the
would
water,
say
it
like
got to go somewhere. It ain't just disappeared.
it do. I would say like okay, so like you got colonizers. Colonizers come to foreign lands, and then you have people, natural people that's live inside of those lands that take care of nature. The colonizers come through, they tear down nature and then build their cities up. North America, this continent was a forest. We have forests and woods over here. We didn't have jungles. You feel me?
Look,
But it was all nature. The colonizer come through, tear down nature, and build their cities up. Along with their cities, they bring systems, which is religion, slave system, which is the modern day work system. They bring all nationality because the colonizers put nationality. Not you know you already know, bro, put nationalities on our indigenous ancestors. But this why I'm saying like Babylon's is anything that's not that's not dealing with the natural people and in the natural order of life. There's no way we should be working jobs. There's no way there's only 13 families that hold all the wealth and we have poor people. Like mental illness don't exist in nature. Like indigenous people don't have mental illness problems. Poverty don't exist in nature. You feel me? You know, there may be a class ranking system, but it's like I'm talking about the indigenous people that's the closest to nature. You know how close they is to nature if they don't speak in language and they still speaking in sounds and clicks. These are like natural people. Like they will be the closest to Big Mama if anything. So it's like since we got cities that's built, you feel me, and we have city owner. A city owner is a Nimrod. You want to become a
we
city owner?
just took the look. All of those charters have been rescinded because they was fraudulent to begin with. They
Mm,
was predicated up on a constructed fraud. The
okay,
argument of we the people, the indigenous tribes across the land, according to the Iroquois Constitution and the birthright to the land, because they never validated none of their contracts, they never upheld any of their treaties,
mm,
non-performance closed them out.
exactly.
Now, right now, what we looking at, all of the banks folding up, Wall Street about to crash, the belly about to fall out of the fraudulent ass mortgage market. Now the people got to be protected.
Hey, hold
That's
on. You can't hold on. You can't skim past that. You gotta backtrack. You say the fraudulent ass mortgage scams. That's a fact because it takes 30 days to build a house that we gotta pay a mortgage on for 30 years. If that ain't the biggest scam, like this shit, this shit crazy.
look.
It takes
This
30
is
days
what
to
you don't
build
know
this
about the
motherfucker.
mortgage. This is where the fraud came in. When you go in to get a mortgage, you're not getting a mortgage on the house. You sign a piece of paper at closing. The house is paid for with your signature. When you took the signature out and paid off the house with your signature,
Mm-hmm.
according to the bankruptcy, it automatically gave you possession of the house right then and there. But here's what happened. They gave you another piece of paper where you agreed to pay if they take out a loan in your name for the value of the house. So they make you pay their loan back with interest to them, and they get all of that scot free.
Hey, yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's a fucking scam if it ain't. Hey, they clever as fuck, Joe. That's why I'm saying like these hey, it's deep, man. Make it
All
rain.
of it was frauds. This is
Make,
what it's already been proven.
yeah.
And this is what I'm telling you. Now we seeing the manifestation of the chiefs across the land calling the markets in, basically.
Mm,
You see how the Pope called all the Vatican money back?
mm-hmm.
We called back all of the contracts they defaulted on, put the organic people, even though we didn't sign them. They allege we signed them. So
Mm,
because they never performed their part of the treaty, because we wasn't never supposed to figure out we was already here.
right.
So they never honored any of the treaties.
Right.
So the
Exactly.
non-performance gave us the right to serve the eviction to close the de facto corporation that was an interim government established under George Washington with the Crown of England, um, in order to establish a interim government until we was able to restore the land after the war. But nobody never told us. They kept that shit a secret. And then
Right.
they took a move. They took the move of telling us we was from Africa. They told us we wasn't POWs, that we were
Mm-hmm.
slaves.
Exactly.
Right? So now we thinking that we got to tie to Africa, but the people over in Africa say, what the fuck you talking about? You from over there.
Right. Exactly.
So when Garvey came along with the Pan-Africanism and make us make these what we call confraternity allegiances.
Mm.
This is forming bonds and connection by speaking to people all around the world, instead of just speaking to the people here that's telling us bald-faced lies like we came over on slave ships.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else thinking Pan-Africanism is saying we all came from Africa. That's bullshit.
They don't even know who the Pan God was. You feel me?
Well,
And that's a whole
in
nother
in the
topic.
in the political lingo, Pan-Africanism or pan anything before political idea mean that it's an idea that covers the globe. And it's short for Pangea, when the world was one.
You ever heard of the god, the ancient god Pan?
Yeah, the
Pan?
flute god with the horn, the
Man,
horn flute god with the goat legs.
the devil. You feel me? The devil. It should be crazy, Joe. But hey, Mr. Make It Rain, Marhaban, that's my Muslim brother. Marhaban Bika. So what's the situation with Philly and how you see it? Uh Philly definitely got a dark cloud over it. It's it's
They
it's
put a curse
it's
on Philly. The settlers put a curse on Philly.
you
That's
can
why
see
they.
it.
That's when they moved the capital, because Philly was our capital.
Man, Philly,
So
hey, it's going. That's like they like Chicago out there. You feel me? It's
mm,
on like it's something. It's like you can just look at that city. It's a dark cloud over it. You can barely see the stars in Chicago.
that's
So I
that's the innocent blood.
that's the innocent blood. Mm,
That shit crying for redemption. It's time to pay up.
mm.
Philly right now, they don't realize it, but when they see the leadership step out front, it's gonna click, because they gonna
Hmm.
tell them that we've been turned against each other by a foreign invader.
You think
Pump
that's
the
gonna
brakes for
matter?
a minute before you try to kill your brother. Listen to what I'm telling you.
You think that's gonna matter though, bro? I think it's deeper than that though, Rob. Because from my understanding, from what I be seeing in life, bro, like you feel me? I'm 33, so like in the 90s, you feel weed and liquor. You feel me? Alcohol, even in early 2000s. Now you got motherfucking pharmaceuticals. Once the higher the elites got the youth hooked on pharmaceuticals such as Xanax, Percocets, lean. Once that shit starting to be like popping, Joe, that's when you see more treacherous acts of violence. More innocent people getting killed is because of the drugs. And that's why I say the drug dealers are sorcerers. You feel me? Because a spell was
Pharmakia means sorcery.
exact point blank period. And then in ancient times, a curse was used to cause affliction through a disease or a virus. That's why a curse has cures. The same word, just the letters is scrambled. But a spell was caused through addiction, drugs or addiction. Spells are meant to control people. Curses are meant to cause affliction through disease and virus. Spells, drugs, and addiction. So it's like that's why I say like drug dealers are like when I see these dope fiends walking around this motherfuckers nodding off and mid walk, I already know somebody put a root on them. Somebody put it's somebody in this community doing voodoo. You feel
Look,
me? Witches,
look,
cause
listen.
like crack it. Yeah, go ahead, bro.
That's a lot of times we taught in the church to cast a spell on ourselves.
In modern
So
times, we say the
when you see
spell
them
is a
people like
spelling.
that, right? When a lot of times you see people like that, the ego, who they perceive they are, they put a spell on them to keep them from being a total tyrant. So they
Mm,
use those drugs as the way to maintain that control of that beast.
definitely. And it's
That's
making
why they.
niggas
That's why they
docile.
took. Look. That's why they took all them old militant motherfuckers off heroin and gave
And
them
then
crack.
and look how they dressing now. You feel me? These niggas wearing skinny jeans with some big ass boots, big ass shoes on. You feel me? With skinny jeans, and it's like, gee, you can tell like the drugs that people doing now is demasculating men. You feel me? It's taking away they testosterone and it's putting more estrogen in them, and you can tell by the
Well, that's
mentality of
cultural.
these
That's
niggas.
cultural, and then they also feeding a lot of estrogen in the water, right?
Yep.
They got estrogen in the water. They got estrogen in the cows and make them produce more milk, right? So you're getting overloaded with estrogen. Then if you're feeding any soy products to a boy, you increasing spike in estrogen. And any bodybuilder tell you that if you're going to be using a steroid, which is a testosterone booster, that you have to have a estrogen blocker in order to not the testosterone not to turn into estrogen, because the estrogen causes in high doses it causes the organs to start to deteriorate, right?
Mm.
Um,
I think somebody got a question for you. They say is Enlil still locked away?
and Leo not on Earth, and Leo been gone. Yeah, they just been just to say grow titties. They call that bitch tit in the workout world. And they using those steroids and also give them acne from hell. But you gotta have an estrogen blocker on them steroids to tear your organs up. Let me see. I ain't got no room to look down on nobody. I've been at the bottom my whole life.
Let me see. Yeah, we got more questions. Let me see. Prince says funny as said. Oh damn shit. He deleted. Oh damn. Let me try to pull it up.
Look, this is a known. Uh, if you know a shaman, okay, if Anu was to return, would you? No, Anu um, don't give two shits what we do on Earth, long as it don't affect Nibiru. The um, the agreement that the Earth made with Nibiru was every 3,600 years they get a quantity of gold to sustain the atmosphere, and they'll give us whatever new technologies that they encounter in return for that. And all of Inky and Enlil kids, Marduk, they all have to leave. They can't stay here. Inky kids was worked in harmony with the earth, but Enlil and his kids, with all of this shit you see going on now to fuck us over, they had to leave. Inky, about a year ago, Inky came with a contingent and was given permission by the Andromeda beings, who was the ones stationed on the outside of Pluto, to come in and retrieve mining technology, which is they people. The mining technology is they mining supervisors, they Lulu Amalu handlers. So when they go, the Earthborn, we have to raise in vibration and frequency so that when we inherit the Earth, that we don't let nobody else come in and trick us and take this bitch over again.
Man. Hey, so
Inky
like,
Lou,
if we, like you said, so we in a contract that we gotta pay. You feel me, motherfucker? The higher ups, certain amount of atomic gold, basically. You feel me? Every 3,600 years. So That would mean, and every 3,600 years they would keep updating our technology. So that would mean, Joe, then it's a being or a race of beings that's on this that's been on this motherfucker for thousands of years. Over, you feel me, like 3,600 years because they every cycle, like that's
Yeah, they
so
been
we got a
yeah, they've been here for a while. They came when Atlantis was here. Atlantis was its own species of human. And when you see the people that they got in Antarctica, when they finally showed the motherfuckers, you see what I'm talking about. Their arms and legs is skinny and longer than ours, right? And they don't look as mammalian as us, but they don't quite look reptilian either. They look more like some kind of amphibian. But
mm,
these motherfuckers they psychic dynamos. Our psychic abilities will come back online in time over the next couple generations. But these motherfuckers so out cold that if they was nefarious beings, that psychic ability, they can make us pretty much do what they want because we haven't developed. It's like a baby
yeah,
learning how to walk.
yep, exactly, exactly. Not it, you, hey, that shit deep because like if it's like so when we done with the star constellation, you feel? I mean the Andromeda galaxy, you feel me? So this where the insectoids, you feel me, come from. So these motherfuckers like highly intelligent too. That's why I was trying to ask you like the other day, like if we was to encounter, one of these extraterrestrials, you feel me? Like how will we know which ones the hostile ones and which ones is not? Somebody asked, do they have many of our people off world as slaves?
They got different worlds with different species of human on them.
I would
Humans is not always slaves. Some planets there's no such thing as a slave.
I would
Other planets is a straight motherfucking work camp.
I wouldn't that's why I was saying like I wouldn't even say like you feel me like they got us, their intentions is to enslave us. You feel me? Because if
They
they
was here
need
for survival purposes.
if they can do they if they are these highly powerful beings, you feel me, they got all these psychic abilities, what do they need us to do anything for them for? You
They
feel me? I
lazy.
feel I feel like it's if they was, you feel me, if they do need us, it'll be for a more, divine purpose. You feel me?
Look,
Maybe some type of
they
genetics
first
or
needed us because they was lazy and they didn't want to do the work themselves.
but they got mental powers though.
Right. So
So they
they use a mental power to create something that was gonna do the work for them.
man, it's deep. So I mean, and I'm definitely familiar with the scriptures. You feel me? And then at least you feel me. The Anunnaki came from Nibiru. You feel me? To basically make they they made modern man. Which is Homo sapiens sapien. I think they was dealing with a Australopithecus or a Homo erectus. They spliced the DNA of a woman, ape woman, basically, and the DNA with the blood of the gods. And this is how they upgraded us our consciousness, which is Homo sapiens sapien, modern man. We can work, use tools, problem solve things like this. And they upgraded our consciousness for us to be slaves. I understand it, but it's like when we dealing with these highly developed beings, you feel me? Do they really need us to slave for them? I think they need us for something else, though. They may need us for DNA purposes. You
We was
feel me?
also entertainment.
Maybe,
This
maybe.
is look, if you really pay attention to Earth, you got every kind of motherfucking shit show you want to see going on Earth. All you gotta do is just watch this shit play out. And you're gonna be sometimes you're gonna laugh, sometimes you're gonna cry, sometimes you're gonna get mad, want to punch a motherfucker in the face. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna go through all of the experiences you go to a movie to see by watching Earth.
Mm, damn. No, somebody. So we got comments. Zaza, be quiet, man. So you we got questions, Joe. It's a lot of these. It's a few of these joints on here. So when we talking about building, I mean bending elements and teaching the kids to do the same. So most of us, you feel me, have had telekinetic experiences, you feel me, in our life. And it happens when we kids. My first telekinetic experience that I can remember, you feel me, I had got suspended from school, got a phone call from home, you feel me, school called my mom, and I got suspended, so I'm already knowing I'm finna get in trouble. She finna tie that ass up when she get out of work. So I get off the school bus, go in the crib. As soon as I get in the crib, I was mad as hell because I'm thinking she finna be in the house, like screaming and shit. So wasn't nobody in the house though. So I drop my book bag at the door, and I walk in my room, mad as hell, a little ass boy, mad as hell. As soon as I walk into my room, the door slammed behind me, and I know for a fact I ain't pulled that door, but I ain't think of it nothing at that time. You feel me? Because I was, but as I look back on the experiences I had, you feel me? Those were telekinetic experiences. You feel me? When I was in school, when I was in like fourth grade, I used to talk too much. I used to be one of them kids that used to talk a lot. So my teacher always separated my desk. She put my desk up by her desk. You feel me? And I was like facing the chalkboard. My back was against the whole class, so I couldn't talk to nobody. But her desk, it was always a little fan at the desk, and I used to always catch myself staring at it, and it was moving. But soon as like I noticed, like soon as I stopped staring at it, it stopped spinning. You feel me? Slowly. You feel me? But it's like everybody just think, I'm pretty sure if you think deeply, you had a telekinetic experience to teach the kids how to tap into their abilities as far as like bending, you know, um, see if they can do it, without even telling them like I'm gonna teach you how to practice how to do telekinesis. Just see if they can do it. Just put a light object, start with a light object, a piece of paper, maybe a feather, a piece of toilet paper, something very light, and just tell them to try to move that without touching it. You feel me? Try to move it and see if they can do it. You know, it's a lot of things we can, a lot of practices that we can do on a daily basis that enhance our, psychic abilities as far as telekinesis. But I mean, if you got any advice on that, definitely go ahead, bro.
See, the first thing is you gotta tell the child to remove the limitation is the first step. And you remove the limitation by telling them that they can develop the skill, but they have to develop it and it take time and practice. The more
Mm-hmm.
practice you put in, right? So then you have to start teaching them the mechanics of bending, right? Air
Exactly.
bending, water bending, fire bending. But when they understand the mechanics of one, they could begin to understand the mechanics of another one, right? So the first thing is to first practice removing the limitation from the mental part by telling them that it's a process. It don't happen overnight. It takes
Exactly.
practice and persistence. The child will understand it, but we don't want to tell them to do nothing that requires persistence because that's creating a strong character trait and it goes
Exactly.
contrary to the social ego development.
Definitely. I mean, I definitely would definitely agree, man. And it's just, the child gonna do it, naturally. If it are some of us, you feel me, most of us have had experiences and shit, man, and it be deep, like. And now that I look at it, you feel me, it be because I didn't walked outside, you feel me, and a bag was floating, you feel me, and then as soon as I stopped looking at it, you feel me, that motherfucker just stopped. And it be like little weird shit. It be like little subtle shit that you don't even think that's like, you feel me, like, yo, that's you all the time. You feel me? So I mean, as far as like telekinesis, I would say, I mean, like if our bending when we dealing with bending, you feel me? These abilities are psychic. These are psychic abilities. Like the way I teach it, you feel me? It's visualization in the beginning. You have to see the object moving. You feel me? How you want it to move. You have to see the object move. Now you raise your intention. You feel me? While you raising your intention, the mind must become void of thought. And this is why telekinesis is so hard, because it's very hard for us to quiet the mind down, because the mind is always thinking. If you have that much mind control where you can shut the mind off and become blank minded while keeping the intention raised, you have to keep the intention but lose the thought. Become The mind must become void. And if you raise your intention, that object will move. You practice this shit, you feel me? You get better and better at it. Start with light objects, then graduate to heavy objects. You feel me? But it's a lot of shit, you feel me? Like bro said, it's practice, consistent. There's the people I train with, you feel me, Joe, they've been practicing for 10, 15 plus years, almost 20 years, and they very strong. They pulling way heavier objects than me. I look like I'm doing something over here. But when y'all see who I'm training, when you feel these motherfuckers pulling way heavier objects, and they've been practicing way longer though. You feel me? If you
But
into that shit, you gonna be practicing, and you probably gonna be like, man, I ain't advancing fast enough. Just be patient, because telekinesis is for those who work hard for it. Any psychic ability. It's for those who work hard for it. You feel me? If you work hard for this, you deserve these psychic abilities. I feel like we ain't supposed to just wake up and know how to do this shit. You feel me? Because a lot of people want these abilities, but they don't want to put in the work, and they don't deserve them. Then it's people that practice this shit every day, that's dedicated, that dedicate a lot of time and energy to this shit, and they advancing highly. They becoming stronger. So, and they absolutely deserve it, though. You feel me?
you gotta also the visualization is so critical to moving the object with the mind, right? But you gotta also remember there's other forms to generate the energy, like palm chakras, right? If the child
Mm,
know he got chakras in his palm, you can use a palm chakra exercise to strengthen your whole aura,
mm,
you know.
definitely, definitely.
And and once you learn how to do it, where you can push pull left right hand energy from one to the other, the stronger you make the field between your hands, the stronger your spirit body. Go back to what we was talking about earlier about the spirit body and astral travel, right? I got a series of exercises that I build on top when I'm doing one-on-one teaching to show people stuff. Like right now, like on here, it's like a lot of stuff. Like I need like the chalkboard, and this is how you, and this is what you see. Going through the steps,
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes the know-how is first understanding the mechanics. If you don't know you're supposed to pedal the bike, when you get on it, you're gonna fall
Exactly.
over.
Exactly.
So you understand the mechanics of how the bike works. When they first told me to ride a bike, they say you get on, you sit here, you steer with the handlebars. You got to learn how to balance, but you pedal to move forward. You push backwards to push brakes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then they put me on the motherfucking bike and rolled my ass down the hill,
Mm, mm.
and, and I crashed a
Right.
thousand times before I learned how to ride. But guess what? Didn't nobody ever entertain the idea or the philosophy of some shit called quit.
Mm. Exactly. It
It
ain't
took
no
me it
quitters.
took
It
me
ain't
some
none of
years
that.
to learn how to ride a bike.
Hey, so look, guys. So you touched on a very important topic. You feel me? As far as hand chakras, and that's why I'm saying, like, you feel me? Like, you feel me? Truth is being spoken. You feel me? When it's in alignment with what you already know. So it's like the way we teach. You feel me, Joe? Telekinesis. You feel me? When I get one-on-one consultations, I go in depth, and hand chakras. You feel me? A lot of us, we can use the hand chakras, but a lot of our hand chakras are blocked. the hand chakra, and we have to reactivate the hand chakras. I teach how to reactivate the hand chakras, and also how to project subtle energy from the hands, because the hands is a conduit for releasing subtle energy. You know, subtle energy is the energy that can't be measured, but you know it's there because you can feel it. And this is it's in the palm and the fingertips. So, but a lot of us, so in telekinesis a lot, bro, when if I'm a little rusty and I got a lot on my mind or whatever, I'll be sitting here trying to move an object and it won't move because my hand chakras is blocked. So a lot of times, you feel me, I do a quick practice, shit. I do a quick practice how to activate the hand chakras. And it's deep because you can use this same practice for healing purposes as well. You feel me, Joe? Motherfucker got sore back or anything. This 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 is subtle energy, how to create subtle energy. I'm pretty sure people know about the chi ball, but I activate the hand chakras, and it's a process, you feel me? It's very quick. What I do is take the thumb, do like that for like 10 times, you know, on each hand, 10 times. If you do it, you'll notice too. Matter of fact, if y'all in the comments, try this. I'm finna release your subtle energy. And and if you practice with this, you move physical objects without touching them. This is called telekinesis. So 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Do this for like 10, 15 seconds. 2, 3, 4. What this does, this get the energy flowing, and this ain't no pseudoscience. You're gonna feel the energy in your hand, and you're gonna be like, yo, I know I can utilize this energy. And that go to a different part of the, you feel me, of the breakdown. So after you do that, you wanna face the palms forward and twist the wrist like this. That's it. After this, do this for like 10 seconds. That's it. I can feel the energy in my hand right now. This is great for healing purposes and telekinesis. It may be great for other things too. You're going to feel a tingling sensation in your hand. All in your palms is going to be like pulsating. You feel me? And your fingertips is going to be tingling. Your palms is going to be pulsating. Now, this is how you activate the hand chakra. Like my fingertips, they feel like, it ain't even like an uncomfortable feeling. It just feel like I know it's energy there. And that energy is subtle energy. So you feel, and then if you want to, you know, you start making your chi ball. Start developing your chi ball. You feel me? However you want to do it, you know, shit. But this is how you activate your hand chakras. And this is like, it's deep, bro. Because if we practice doing taking these prerequisite steps, a motherfucker will be advanced in telekinesis. They'll be at the head of their class. You feel me? But you know that's very important, because the way I teach is I got a formula. It's called EIE. Empathy plus EIE equals TK. That's empathy plus intention plus energy equals telekinesis. So empathy plus intention plus energy equals telekinesis. We develop an empathetic connection with the object. This is the visualization process. You feel me, Joe? Before we even start to project the energy or raise the intention. Now we raising the intention, which is the I part. Raise the intention while losing the thought. You feel me? Now that's the E part, which is the energy part. Now you have to project that energy out, because as you raise your intention, your energy is going to build up. Gotta learn how to project it out. And it's deep though, like you said, through practice, man. All of us have telekinetic abilities, but most of us don't have the time to develop them. This takes consistent practice. You feel me? Like hours a day, every day. You feel me? To be like to be good at this
Just
shit.
like an instrument. Some
Just like
people
an
are
instrument.
impresarios and they can pick up an instrument